Welcome back to the deep dive. I want to start today by asking you a question, and I want you to be really honest with yourself.
Okay.
When was the last time you felt truly, deeply connected to the world around you? And I don't mean, connected to Wi-Fi. I mean that feeling where the barrier between you and the environment sort of dissolves and you just feel moved.
It's a difficult question to answer these days.
It is, right. And that's the paradox we are tackling today. We're living in this era of just absolute technological wizardry. We've never been faster. We've never been more linked in. Yet every single stat, and frankly, just the vibe of daily life suggests we feel frozen, alienated.
Watching life through a pane of glass.
Exactly.
It is the defining struggle of the modern era. We have this unprecedented acceleration in every metric. Social change, tech, data. But our capacity to actually relate to that world seems to be atrophying.
We're speeding up, but we're losing traction.
That's a great way to put it.
And usually, when we try to figure out why we're all so burnt out, we turn to self-help books or, I don't know, a sociology paper if we're feeling fancy. But today,
But it is a little different.
today's different. I have to say, when I first looked at the stack of research for this, I thought there was a mistake. I thought someone had stapled two totally different outlines together.
It is certainly an eclectic mix.
Eclectic is putting it mildly. We're looking at excerpts from Resonance, Riemann, Multiverse. So on one hand, we have Hartmut-Rosa's heavy-hitting sociological theory of resonance.
Okay.
And on the other hand, and I am not joking, we have the Riemann zeta function, prime number theory, and quantum chaos.
It sounds like a collision of worlds, doesn't it? But the argument these sources are making is that these are not separate topics. You actually can't understand the alienation without understanding the math.
That is a bold claim. So we're going from why do I feel dead inside to the distribution of prime numbers.
In a way, yes. The mission of this deep dive is to explore this idea that the universe isn't just a random container of stuff. Right.
The sources suggest the universe has a specific melody, a kind of resonance frequency. And the argument is that we're suffering because we are trying to sprint against the rhythm of the cosmos.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if the universe has a melody, I think most of us are listening to static right now. But before we get to the math, and listeners, stick with us, the math is actually mind-blowing. We have to diagnose the problem, the trap of the hamster wheel.
Right. This is central to Hartmut-Rosa's diagnosis. He uses a term that I think is incredibly useful, dynamic stabilization.
Dynamic stabilization. It sounds like something from an engineering manual.
It does, but think about it like a bicycle. Or, even better, the Red Queen from Alice in Wonderland. You know the scene.
It takes all the running you can do to keep in the same place.
Exactly.
That feels uncomfortably relatable.
That is modern society. We're not growing and accelerating to get somewhere better, to reach utopia. We're accelerating just to maintain the status quo.
So if a company stops growing, it doesn't just stay the same size. It goes bankrupt. If you stop updating your skills, you don't just stay employed, you become obsolete.
So the acceleration isn't progress, it's a maintenance fee. It's the cost of admission just to exist in 2026.
Precisely. And this creates the hamster wheel. The sources identify 4 dimensions of this acceleration. You have technical, social, the acceleration of the pace of life itself.
And the fourth one is the big one, right? The great acceleration.
Yeah, it's the exponential spike in resource consumption, CO2, population, everything since about 1950. It's the engine driving the ecological crisis. And to keep this speed up, we've adopted what the text calls a Promethean approach to the world.
Promethean, like Prometheus stealing fire. So an aggressive relationship with reality.
Aggressive is the right word. It's an orientation where we view the world as an object to be dominated, controlled, calculated, and exploited. We treat nature and, increasingly other people as just resources to be mined.
We turn everything into data or utility.
Exactly. And the result, according to Rosa, is that the world falls silent. In German, the term is Verstummen. It means the world stops speaking to us. We lose the ability to be touched or moved by our surroundings because we're too busy trying to control them.
When you treat a forest as just board feet of lumber, it stops being a forest.
It's all silent.
That is such a haunting image. It explains that numbness. You can scroll through 1,000 beautiful images online, but you don't feel any of them. But, okay, if the problem is speed, isn't the solution just slowing down? Go on a slow food retreat and breathe?
You'd think so. But Rose is actually really critical of that idea. He says that mere deceleration, a yoga retreat, A digital detox is often just a functional pause. It's a pit stop.
Right, you're just refueling so you can jump back on the hamster wheel on Monday and run even faster.
Exactly. It's therapeutic, not transformative. The solution to alienation isn't slowness, it's resonance.
Okay, we need to define this carefully. Because resonance can sound like a vibe, like something you'd hear in a crystal shop, but the sources are using it very specifically.
They are. Resonance here is a specific mode of relationship. It's a vibrating relationship where both you and the world speak with your own voices. It's a two-way street. You touch the world, and the world touches you back. And crucially, it transforms you.
The sources make a distinction here that I absolutely loved between two German concepts, Aneignung and Anverwandlung.
Yes, this is core to the whole idea. Aneignung is appropriation. This is how we usually approach life. We accumulate skills, knowledge, like we're building a portfolio.
Right. I learned French to make my resume look better. I listened to that podcast so I could sound smart. It's about having things.
Exactly. It's about making the world useful to you. It's control. Anverwandlung, on the other hand, is closer to transformation. It's a process where you encounter something, a piece of music, a mountain, and you are fundamentally changed by it.
You don't have the experience has you.
That's it.
And the kicker is, you can't schedule that, can you?
No. And that is what drives our modern, efficiency-obsessed minds crazy. Resonance is unverfügbar, unavailable, uncontrollable. You cannot force a resonant moment. You can't have a transformative moment on your Google Calendar.
That's the friction. We've built a world on optimization, but the things that make life worth living, love, inspiration, connection, are inherently uncontrollable. Appropriation is about safety. Resonance is about vulnerability.
Perfectly put. And this is where the deep dive takes a sharp left turn. Because so far, we're talking sociology, philosophy, feelings. But the sources argue this isn't just a human feeling.
They argue that resonance is a structural law of the universe.
Exactly.
This is the bridge to the math, and I want to pause here and say to you, the listener, don't panic. We are going to talk about the Riemann zeta function, but we're going to do it in a way that actually makes sense.
We are.
So they bring in the Riemann hypothesis. For anyone who isn't a math major, this is one of the biggest unsolved problems in mathematics. It's about prime numbers.
Right. Think of prime numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 as the atoms of arithmetic. Every other number is built by multiplying them together. They are the building blocks.
But they seem random, right? There's no simple pattern.
They seem chaotic. But Bernhard Riemann, back in the 19th century, found a new way to look at them. He developed this zeta function. And without getting bogged down in the calculus, think of it as a kind of prism for numbers.
Okay, so we're looking at the spectrum of the number line.
Exactly. And Riemann found that the distribution of primes is controlled by the zeros of this function, the points where the graph hits zero.
And his hypothesis, the thing everyone's trying to prove, is that all the important zeros line up perfectly.
Yes. The hypothesis states they all lie on a specific critical line. Now, I know that sounds abstract, so let's use a metaphor. Imagine the universe is a guitar string.
Okay, I'm with you, a guitar string.
When you pluck a string, it vibrates. It has a fundamental note, but also harmonics, the points where the string doesn't move, the nodes. They aren't random.
Right, that's what makes it music and not just noise.
Precisely. The Riemann hypothesis suggests that the zeros are like the nodes on that cosmic string. They're the resonance frequencies of the number system. If they're all on that line, it means the system creates a harmony. If they were scattered all over,
the universe would have inherent dissonance.
You'd have static.
So math isn't just a tool we invented. The argument is that the fundamental structure of reality is it's tuned.
Yes. And this is where it gets spooky. The sources cite research on quantum chaos.
This was the part that blew my mind.
It is incredible. Physicists were looking at the energy levels of heavy nuclei chaotic quantum systems, and they found that the spacing of these energy levels
matched the spacing of the Riemann zeros.
Perfectly. The math of prime numbers, pure abstract thought, behaves exactly like the physics of quantum energy.
Let me get this straight. We have the feeling of alienation because we're rushing. The sociologist says we need resonance. And now the math is saying, hey, the universe itself is built on resonance frequencies.
Exactly. It suggests resonance isn't just a poetic metaphor. It implies there is this hidden harmonic structure connecting everything. These mathematical invariants, these zeros, they act as a stable compass. In a chaotic world, the math suggests there is an underlying order, a melody.
And that leads us directly to string theory. Because if the math is the sheet music, string theory is describing the instrument itself.
That's a great way to put it. If we zoom out, we hit string theory. The core idea is that the fundamental building blocks of the universe are not little dots. They are tiny, vibrating filaments of energy, strings.
So an electron isn't a thing, it's a vibration.
Correct. And a quark is just a different vibration, is the note that the string is playing.
There's that quote in the source material, physics is the harmony, chemistry is the melody.
And the universe is the symphony.
This completely reframes the hamster wheel problem. If the universe is a symphony, then we aren't just rats running in a cage, we are what? Out-of-tune instruments.
We are vibrant strings on a cosmic soundboard. We are part of the orchestra. Our actions, our thoughts, our feelings, they all send out frequencies that interact with the whole system.
So when we talk about alienation or burnout, it's not just that we're tired. It's that we are dissonant. We are forcing this linear, exponential, faster rhythm onto a system built on harmony.
Exactly. We are trying to impose fact-free noise onto a symphony. And naturally, that creates friction, it creates heat, it creates the ecological crisis and the mental health crisis. We are playing against the grain of reality.
So the big question, how do we get back in tune? The sources talk about spectral navigation. Now, usually when I hear spectral, I think ghosts, but...
No ghosts. Spectral here refers to the spectrum of frequencies, like the Riemann zeros. It's the idea that we need to stop navigating by linear progress, more money, more speed, and start navigating by resonance.
Which sounds lovely, but what does that actually look like on a Tuesday?
Well, it starts with education. Moving away from competence capital, just teaching kids skills for the market. Instead, we need to teach resonance enabling.
And they break this down into 3 axes, which I found really helpful.
Yes. First, horizontal resonance. That's your relationship with other people. Democracy, empathy, listening, not treating people as competitors.
Okay. Then there's diagonal resonance.
That's our relationship to things and to work, having a lively connection to what you do. The difference between a carpenter who loves the wood and a factory worker who just presses a button.
And the third one, vertical resonance.
That's the big one. Connection to the whole. Nature, the cosmos, religion, even that mathematical beauty we talked about. The sense that you are part of something larger.
Now, there is a political application here that caught me off guard. Hartmut Rosa brings up universal basic income, UBI.
He does.
And usually UBI is an economic debate. Robots are taking our jobs, here's a check. But Rosa isn't really talking about poverty, is he?
No. In this framework, UBI is about noise reduction.
Noise reduction. Okay, I have to play devil's advocate. Does the source really think a monthly check stops the existential dread of the modern world? Is it that simple?
It's not that the money fixes the dread. It's that the constant fear of losing money creates the noise. Think about the hamster wheel again. Why do you keep running?
Because if I stop, I fall off, I lose my house, I can't feed my kids.
Right. That existential fear creates static. It puts your brain in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you cannot resonate. You can't hear the melody because the alarm bells are ringing too loud.
So UBI, in this view, is like noise-canceling headphones for the economy.
That's a brilliant analogy. It reduces systemic friction. It creates a baseline of security, a kind of silence, so that people can actually find their eigenfrequency, their natural vibration. You can't tune an instrument while you're running for your life.
That is a fascinating reframe. It changes UBI from welfare to resonance infrastructure. Okay, we have to touch on the technology part before we wrap up. This gets very sci-fi. JADU paradigm and zeta resonance.
This is the most speculative part. Yeah. GADU is General Agent Defined Universe.
A mouth.
The idea is that future tech might not rely on explosion and extraction like burning fossil fuels, which is a violent act. Instead, it might use zeta resonance.
Can you translate that into plain English?
Think about swimming in a river. Right now, our technology swims upstream. We burn massive amounts of energy fighting the current of entropy.
Okay.
Zeta resonance would be like having a map of the currents, the informational pathways in space-time. It would mean building technology that flows with the structure of reality. Instead of forcing energy out of matter, you synchronize with the energy that's already there.
So it's technology that acts like a sailboat rather than a motorboat.
Exactly. A shift from a technology of domination to a technology of cooperation with the universe.
Wow. We have covered so much ground. From burnout to sociology to prime numbers, string theory, and basic income, it's a massive synthesis.
It is, but if you look closely, it all points to one thing: a harmonic revolution.
The sources conclude that the path out of the Anthropocene, this mess we've made, isn't about better exploitation. We don't need better drills.
We need better ears.
That's the core takeaway. Science, in this view, isn't a tool for conquering nature. Science is the concert master. It helps us retune our instruments.
We have to stop viewing the world as a mute object.
Rosa has this beautiful line. He calls for a revolution where arithmetic is a prayer and physics is a symphony.
It sounds idealistic, I know. But consider the alternative. We know where the Promethean path leads. It leads to a hotter, faster, quieter world where we have everything and feel nothing.
And the alternative is a world of vibrant relationships. The math says the stability is there. The physics says the connection is fundamental. The sociology says we crave it. The only thing stopping us is the speed at which we're running away from it.
Well said.
So here is the thought I want to leave you with today. Look at your to-do list, look at your calendar, and just ask yourself, am I resonating or am I just accelerating?
That is the crucial question.
If the universe really is a symphony and you are a vibrating string, the goal isn't to see how fast you can vibrate until you snap. The question is, are you playing in harmony with the reality around you, or are you just contributing to the noise?
Let's hope we can all find the melody.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll see you next time.